What was the single hardest lesson to learn, to master, to succeed?
It's knowing that everything you work on to this day, there is no guarantee prize at the end of it, right? It might not work out. But with that said, there's a silver lining because
how much timing play a role in that do you succeed, and how much do you believe that it's compound effect of certain skills you acquire during the time?
Yeah, timing's everything in entrepreneurship. You know, despite what anyone says, like you can have a lot of skill sets, you can be good at what you do, and you can strategize, which will help you. But if the timing's not right, like you're just fighting an uphill battle. You're swimming against the current. Like imagine right now trying to start a cell phone company and go and competing with like AT&T and T-Mobile. Or imagine starting another social platform, right? And competing with TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat and Pinterest and Instagram, right? Like those things became popular because of timing. Those entrepreneurs were not anything special.
How do you personally work on your mindset nowadays after all this success and keeping away your ego from the first place? Because
I think by failing a lot in the beginning, it taught me a lot of valuable lessons where this game has no room for ego. When ego's in, you're emotional. When emotion's in, bad decisions are made.
What does success means to you today, and how this changed from the moment before you made your first million?
Yeah, so when I first wanted success, I wanted money. And I think that's an admirable thing to want at first, right? You can't do shit without money at first because you need money to do the things you want to do.
How important support is on that journey? Did you have it from your closest ones and family members or no, and how this felt? Was there some certain beliefs which you changed in yourself and you realized that they're completely fake just because of that timing when it happened? What is Rocketeer today? Guys, I need to say something. We're building something really special here. The level of guests, the conversations, the depth we are going in week by week, it's becoming better and better, more and more valuable. But there is one thing which doesn't make any sense. Almost 90% of you who keep watching the episodes, who keep coming back week by week, are not subscribed yet. Which means one thing, you're not fully part of that journey. I get it, it's one click, it feels small, but for us, and myself personally, means everything. It tells the algorithm that we matter, it helps us reach bigger guests and create better and better podcast episodes, which at the end of the day are equally for myself like for yourself. They bring the value. So if there was ever a moment to support us, I please you to do it right now. Check if you're subscribed, and if you're not, it's completely free. It doesn't mean to you that much like it means to us. Just click the subscribe button, and by that way, you will help us grow bigger and bigger. And what I can promise you is that me and my team will continue making improves and very soon move ourselves to the real studio where we will record even more powerful episodes with same and new guests. Check, are you subscribed? And subscribe right now. Thank you. Blake, thank you so much for being today with me here. I really appreciate you accepting my invitation.
No, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and as I told you, I was doing quite a research before I invite you on this episode because I wanted to make the angle not just a journey of your story, because we know all these awards and my huge respect for these awards behind you, especially ANSI ones. But to start with, I want to ask you, what's the story of your childhood that best explains the person you are today?
Oh, good question, man. I think it was the constant iteration of becoming better and better at, who I was as growing up. And, my parents instilled in me a lot of values at a young age to never give up, keep pushing forward. Times are going to get tough. It's really nothing new that gave me the ambition, I would say. It was just when you get to grow up and you have a lot of values and instilled in you in the correct way, I think, and you're taught early on from a young age, ways to go about things, you can apply that as you grow up. It just becomes part of you,
It's a solid foundation, yeah.
Yeah. And I would accredit a lot of my ambition to that. It could go the opposite way as well, right? If someone's not instilling those values in you, if someone's not instilling work ethic, and different things like that, you could go the opposite way as well and grow up and be, kind of lazy towards things. But my ambition stemmed from probably early on, just constant iteration of again and again, figuring things out, as well as, parents really instilling things into me that to just keep pushing forward in times, even when it's tough. And that was from, sports as a young age to, daily chores around the house. I mean, whatever it might be. Nothing revolutionary, nothing new, but that ambition stayed with me as I grew up, and I just got to apply it to build really cool things.
Whenever you come to the salesperson will tell you, I know how to help you. We are having perfect solution for you. But in fact, you have a great product, you have a great offer, you know that you can help so many people, but yourself still inconsistent. Why it's like that? Because you misunderstand two basic principles. And let me tell you something, it's not economy, it's not war, it's not current president or political situation, none of that. Because simply you and money were always on the same planet Earth. You never left the planet, and most likely money never did it, right? The only two ways are the reason why it's like that. Number one thing, which can be the reason, is that you don't know the right way of presenting your offer. Number two can be that you don't know the proper way to whom to present it, which boils down to you don't know to whom to sell, or you don't know the right way to speak to the people to whom to sell. I have been scaling in the past 10 years multiple of my own companies and companies of my clients from $0 to $200,000 in sales, being in China, selling physical, perishable items like food and beverages, and without speaking Chinese, without writing Chinese, and without knowing how to sell to Chinese people. But I knew one core principle, and this is that psychology of people never change. So I knew to whom to sell, and I knew exact way how to present my offer to them. I was scaling up my digital businesses to hundreds of thousands of dollars, again understanding two core principles: to whom to sell, so who can benefit from my offer, and the way, when, and how to present my offer. And there is no magic and there is no secret behind that. It's really easy to understand it. But in order to this video be very short, I put all of this together in the school community, which is completely for free. You can join it right now, clicking on the link below in the description box, and you can discover these two principles. It will take you a couple of days to figure it out yourself and to practice it, and then your sales will become consistent. Until then, see you in the school community. Bye for now. Is there a moment you realize, like, okay, I'm a little bit different. I'm not fitting in the society of 9 to 5 work and in the society of who look for the security job and security salary?
Yeah, I would say I was in the fourth grade. I'll never forget it. And
Wow.
I brought baseball cards to school one day, and I opened up shop when we were at recess, and I started selling them. And I was like, it was just part of me. Like I was opening up lemonade stands when I was like 7 years old in the neighborhood, trying to make a few bucks. I would always ask my parents if I could like do stuff around the house, like mow the lawn or whatever, to make some money. And I was just always had like kind of that hustler mentality. But yeah, it's like when I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur at a really young age. I think it was like at a young age I got kind of addicted to money as just a young kid. You know, as you grow up, you kind of like it's not necessarily the same anymore, but like I just loved money when I was a kid. I was like, this is cool. This can buy me things, right? And I think a lot of that like stemmed on like, how do I get more of this? And I just stumbled my way into finding little things that earned. And I knew really young that, yeah, I wasn't going to go down that traditional 9 to 5 path, or at least I didn't want to, even though I'd say most of us have worked some type of job, you know, and I have too, but I knew it just wasn't for me. I just never fit into that mold.
That's very interesting because nowadays it's kind of like fancy to we see kids who are selling lemonade or trying to sell something, and it's kind of trend. But back in that time, probably was quite unique. Not many kids wanted to
It
do it,
was. I was making
right?
good money too. I was making like 20 bucks a day, like in fourth grade selling baseball cards. So I got in trouble from it from the teachers, but like it when you start earning money like that, there's just really no turning back to like the possibilities. So it was an interesting experience to say the least.
Yeah, and when I was looking backwards in your journey, I found out that you have been into some startup which pretty much like fail or didn't go well. Can you tell me more about them, and when did you decide to start your first, let's say, serious business in that time?
Yeah, so like any entrepreneur, you go through kind of like the ringer, you go through
Yep.
hell trying to figure it out. No one's first business is ever really the successful one, you know. Sure, there's some unicorn ideas out there that they struck gold, but most entrepreneurs, most meaning everyone, they'll tell you that the first things you do are just going to fall flat on their face because it's really a learning curve. It's an experience. You just don't know what you're doing, right? And when you do something for the first time, you typically just have no idea what you're doing, no matter how smart you are. And our first few startups failed. Gosh, where do I begin? I had like 27 startups that really failed
Wow.
before. Oh yeah. Just completely getting obliterated, right? Like failure after failure after failure. But one thing it teaches you is that those failures you can pick up, and it doesn't tell you what to do right, but it tells you what not to do again. And after so much trial and error and so much process of elimination, you start to become, I don't want to say good, but I want to say decent, where you can make better decisions. So my business partner and I, we've been together since college. We worked on a few startups together in the education space. We've raised capital, we've failed, we've burnt through capital. There's a lot of moral hazard when it comes to that. But overall, it was startup after startup, idea after idea, really good ideas. We just weren't capable at the time because we just weren't the people, because we lacked the experience. And the truth is, when you give up on something, maybe it just wasn't the right timing for it. Because I also firmly believe that you cannot fail if you don't quit at something, right? And there is a right time and place to quit on things. Don't get me wrong, like winners quit all the time. So don't let anyone ever tell you that, winners never quit. Yes, they do. They quit and they do something else and they pivot and they find something that makes sense for them. But it just wasn't the right time for us. Like we just didn't have that experience at the time. But what we did is, we were able to pick up those failures and bring them to something in this digital marketing community, which I got into and had a lot of success with, which led us to where we are today. So a lot of the past failures is what.
That's very interesting what you're saying here, that entrepreneurs can give up all the time and so on. Have you ever had thoughts yourself, okay, it's enough, like in all those 27 startups or how many you had, have you ever had thoughts like, okay, it's not for me, I don't want to do it?
No, I always wanted to figure it out. But that's the game here. You got to be relentless and you got to be kind of a psychopath to do this. Like entrepreneurship's not for everyone. I believe we all have it in us. I mean, that's the way humans have gotten so far. We've survived some of the most harsh environments and conditions planet Earth has had to offer, because deep down you have to be entrepreneurial to get through those. So I think that lives in us and all of us to an extent, but I don't believe everyone should be an entrepreneur. Like I just don't believe it. Like it takes a different mindset. It takes a format you have to go by. You have to delay gratification for such a long period of time, to where honestly, you got to be a psychopath to do this. Like who would sign up for this? Literally, like, and people only ever see, it's like the whole iceberg analogy. You only ever see the tip of the iceberg. You don't see like what's underneath, 90% underneath the water of the hell that someone goes through. So people just want to congratulate you after you make it. But the come up to that is 10, 20, 100x more difficult than just going and working in a structured environment. So like, I never wanted to quit at it. I just had that psychopath mentality. And I knew that there was a pot of gold, the quote unquote pot of gold, the success at the end of the rainbow. I just had to like stay with it long enough to get to it. And I knew I was going to try to find a way to figure it out. And if it wasn't going to be this thing, it was going to be the next. And that's how I went about it with all the different startup ideas. If it wasn't going to be the first, it'd be the second. And, barring the fact that I sucked so long at it, I went to 27 of them until like the 28th actually worked out. But, I just knew I enjoyed doing it, because at the end of the day, it's building things. It's progression that really gets me excited. The results are great, of course, but it's just like back in the time, it's like when we get the result, I get bored again. You know what I mean? Like I want to keep building new things. It's like the hunter. Like the hunt is the exciting part. And then when they kill the buffalo, it's like they're depressed again. It's like the dopamine drops. They have to go like find the next buffalo to hunt and kill. And it's kind of the same way with entrepreneurship. Like the fun part is building and the journey and all that cliche shit, that people talk about. But that's really the reality of what it is, building cool things with your vision. And then when you get the result, it's great, right? But it's also like that result just kind of gives you the resources to go and build the next thing, or take the thing that you're building on and bring it to a whole new level. So no, I never wanted to quit. I knew you just have to have a vision. You just have to understand that you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that yellow brick road, eventually you're going to find the Wizard of Oz. So I knew that was going to be the result, and I just had to keep seeing it through until it came to fruition.
Yeah, and how important support is on that journey? Did you had it from your closest ones and family members, or no? And how this felt?
Yeah, I don't think support defines your success or failure. I know a lot of people that had zero support and you're going to be a hungry pit bull. You're going to be a hungry pit bull. You're going to make it work no matter what. But I do think support kind of gives you like the advantage. It gives you the head start, right? Because what support does is you're going to be in really dark times as an entrepreneur. You're going to think, and and it's not that you're going to be in dark times and then everything's going to be hunky dory. You're going to be, it's an ebb and flow. It's a peak and valley journey the rest of your life. Pleasure and pain, they're next door neighbors in entrepreneurship. There's never a moment in any business where it's just, oh, it was shit and now it's good forever. It's back and forth, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. And I think having that support system, especially in the infancy stages when you start something, it helps because it's just you. And it's just you and your thoughts typically, if you don't have a business partner to bounce ideas off of. I fortunately do. But in the beginning, you're just like, you having someone that you can vent to or talk to about really helps. Having someone that can, if you have someone that can financially support you to an extent, that of course is going to help as well. But you want to be around people that support your vision, right? It's a better thing. Now, the reality is people will tell you they support you in the beginning, but no one cares enough. Like your family will care, your mom and dad will care, and they're more so they're worried about you and they want to make sure that you're okay, and they're going to support your dreams because it's just that unconditional love. But everyone else, it's like they'll tell you, yeah, they're proud of you and stuff, but I wouldn't know if I'd call it support. I'd call it just like shooting the shit, telling people what you're working on and stuff. But the truth is, you can have a support system, you cannot, but having it will help in the beginning slightly. Having like, you don't want your mom and dad or family members to not support the ideas. That's going to put a monkey on your back. But also, if you have no support, you can still make it, because no matter what, it comes down to the grit that lives inside of you.
And this is very, very interesting what you said here, because you're one of the rare people who believes that support is not necessarily something to define you. And I agree with that, because my belief is only that if you believe in yourself and you have the vision, you're going to do it no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to, and you hear a lot of the crap like, oh, you need support. It's like, do you? I mean, it helps, but like, no, you don't. Because like at the end of the day, like if you believe in something deep down, like regardless of what people say, you're going to do it. Like the amount of times if we listen to other people who support us, like I wouldn't be where we are, because you kind of have to do the antithesis of what people are telling you. And that's really the recipe for success, because modern day normal people, which have, like I said, if you're an entrepreneur, you're more of a psychopath. Like they have reasoning. They're more logical. We're the psycho visionary, crazy people thinking that we're going to do the insane things. And then it's not insane until, it's only insane until you do it. And yeah, I don't think you need the support, but like I said, I think it would be like the advantage or the slight head start, but it's not a factor of your success or anything.
When you answered me on the previous question, you mentioned timing, and considering that you had so many startups which fails, how much timing play a role in that do you succeed, and how much do you believe that it's compound effect of certain skills you acquired during the time?
Yeah, timing's everything in entrepreneurship. Despite what anyone says, like you can have a lot of skill sets, you can be good at what you do, and you can strategize, which will help you. But if the timing's not right, like you're just fighting an uphill battle. You're swimming against the current. Like imagine right now trying to start a cell phone company and go and competing with like AT&T and T-Mobile. Or imagine starting another social platform, right? And competing with TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat and Pinterest and Instagram, right? Like those things became popular because of timing. Those entrepreneurs were not anything special. They had a vision, they had an idea, and they executed, which is like entrepreneurship 101, right? But the timing in itself becomes a talent in spotting it, because if you're trying to go into a market and technology is not ready for it, like when the Segway was invented, like I remember the owner, he had this great story behind it. He's like, yeah, with the rise in human population, cars aren't going to work anymore. And the Segway technically is a great idea. Terrible timing, didn't work out. So I would attribute the majority of success to myself and other entrepreneurs, whether they admit it or not. It's timing. It's coming into the market with a good idea, riding a trend, and you have to be the one capable of executing and finding success with it. You can look at it right now with AI, right? Like the amount of entrepreneurs shifting completely to AI shows you that they're using AI as timing, because it's not mainstream yet, but it's becoming more and more mainstream. Like it's probably at that inflection point, that inflection period. It's getting there, but it's like, that's timing, right? You can ride that wave and start massive businesses. Look at all of the businesses right now that have started based on AI and have exploded in the last year or two, right? That's timing. You're not going to have that opportunity in 3 years from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I attribute a lot of success to timing, to coming in the market at the right time. And And doing so, that's a key. Like that, being able to do that is skill in and of itself. And when you can find those opportunities, you can compound it by having the skill sets ready to attack a problem with a solution.
Very powerful. Thank you for breaking down this. That's very interesting topic. Looking backwards now from the point where you are, what was the single hardest lesson to learn, to master, to succeed?
You have to be willing to you have to be willing to put a lot of time and effort into something with zero results. And those zero results could stay zero, never happen. You have to understand that entrepreneurship is not a game of like going into an office and I know I'm going to get a paycheck every Friday.
No guarantees, yeah.
You have to know that that delayed gratification might always stay delayed. And that was hard to swallow in the beginning. It's like you can put effort into something for weeks, months, years, and there is no guarantee it's going to pay off for you at all, 0%. Just because you're working on something doesn't mean it's going to work out for you. And I think the hardest lesson to learn is that it's knowing that everything you work on to this day, even with everything we work on to this day, there is no guarantee prize at the end of it, right? It might not work out. But with that being said, there's a silver lining because when you go and continue on that, if you have the balls and the tenacity to go on that path, what you're going to learn is that you're going to acquire those skills on something new every time so that when you do it again and again and again, it still doesn't guarantee success, but it tilts the odds in your favor so that the chances of having success are more likely. So that was a really tough lesson, like jumping into the lion's den, getting your face kicked in, getting chewed up and spit out, and then knowing after all that effort, you still might be back to ground zero. In fact, you won't be back to ground zero. You'll be negative because you probably wasted resources in the form of time and money.
Cool. Do you remember the time when you realized that you made your first $1 million?
Yeah, it was I was blown away by it. I've been fortunate enough to have some pretty good mentors in the space. And they taught me a lot. When our first $1 million was made what year? 2020, February of 2020, which was crazy. We did $1 million in 25 days, which was explosive. We went from like zero to $1 million. And I'll never forget it. But the reason it was able to happen is because we were able to take what we learned years before, codify it, organize it, create value, provide an offer, and then deliver it to the marketplace. So making $1 million in 25 days wasn't a result of luck, even though I'd say luck and timing, whatever you want to call it, define luck, show it more often, take more chances, whatever it might be. Part of that always plays a role in it, but at the end of the day, it was the skill sets we've acquired. I acquired 5 years prior to that actually gave the opportunity for us to go and make that kind of money. But it was mind-boggling, right? Like, and you become numb to it, which I hate, but you just become numb to it. Like you start realizing that's like screw, money's just the tool to like do the next big and bad thing. So it was crazy to say the least.
Looking from today, from that point, at that funnel, on that strategy, let's call it, which create you that $1 million. Do you still think that something specific is there, what you know and other people don't? Or you just believe that it was just something what you changed in yourself and started to rolling the ball?
No, I don't. What we know and other people know, I think information is all around us, right? Like it's available to everyone. I think the difference is what people do with it. I don't think anything we did is what we know of is different. I think there's different levels of the detail and the nuances, through experience. Like I could tell you a little bit about a TV, for example, right? But someone that's worked on TVs for a decade might be able to tell you the craziness that goes on, the mechanics inside of it, right? The inner workings of it. So when we were able to do that, I think like launching stuff has always been a thing. Building good products has been a thing. It was just who was going to actually are we willing to go and build a great product and find a product market fit and launch it in a way that creates a lot of buzz and stirs commotion. That was a differentiating factor. All these components for success already exists. The question is how hard are we going to go in and become really great at doing each one of them? And that's what we did. And we just happened to create a really good product at the perfect timing for a really great market. And we launched it in epic fashion, unlike anything any entrepreneur has really done in this space. And as a result, it exploded. It did $1 million in 25 days. It did 8 figures in the first year. One product, one webinar. That was it. But because we crafted everything in the way that we did is why it had success. So is the information unique? I don't think so. But what we did with the information, I think that's kind of the secret sauce that not everyone can get their hands on per se. And the only reason we're able to do that is because you just sit down and brainstorm and come up with ideas. You have experience from the past, and you also can observe of what people are currently doing in the marketplace. And when you accumulate all of those ideas together, you can come up with a very good game plan to deliver something no one's seen before.
It's very interesting because most of the time, entrepreneurs, including myself, we believe that there is some trick in the funnel, there is some trick in the pitch, there is some trick in something what I say. And in fact, it shows that it's all about compound effect of your skills you have, a little bit with the correct timing, and here you are. But can you tell me from your perspective, we're speaking about 2020, biggest pandemic ever, a lot of uncertainty in the world. Was there some certain beliefs which you changed in yourself and you realized that they're completely fake just because of that timing when it happened, and you realized no, whatever happened, those are the principles and they will not change?
No, I don't. I'm not going to credit any change, anything to specific outside economic factors or outside natural factors or disasters. Principles are principles, right? Like physics is physics. Some of the stuff is timeless. And I'm more of a believer on taking timeless principles and applying a twist to them instead of hopping on like the latest trend and fad or whatever. And back to the point you said before, like, it's those timeless principles that are going to carry your business through thick and thin. And sure, you can have a little peak of success if you create some new strategy or following some trend or fad. But we both know how this space works and how entrepreneurs are. They like to copy and steal literally everything and burn it to the ground to where it's no longer a cool trend or fad anymore. And that's the end of it. But when you base your decision-making process off old school, boring, timeless principles, but you add new school flair to it, that's when you're going to have success because you just built a foundation off concrete instead of some like sand, And that's what we like to do. Take old school stuff that's timeless, but then make it hip, make it gangster, put some hype to it, make it really cool. And now you have something that feels unique, but man, your house is built off a really strong foundation.
Love it, because you're breaking here some certain excuses where people say like, oh yeah, this worked before, now doesn't work. Really?
People have been telling us webinars have been dead for a decade. Our webinar is still to this day, 5 years later, explosive. So let people peddle the propaganda into the marketplace. It doesn't bother us. The reality is if you can take us, when someone's saying something is dead, that means it's the most alive.
Yeah, like I also feel like that. And recently when I was recording with Jason Fladley, he said, yeah, they're dead. They make me all this fame behind that. And my book is more sold than ever before. So that's
exactly right.
That's exactly the truth. I just want to, now we go a little bit on the funnels because you're obviously very good at it. Your words next to you are speaking volume about that. What do you think that AI will eventually do to funnels today? Is there anything what can get dramatically changed and we forget old funnels we know for whatever we are using, launch, upsell, low ticket, high ticket, community, whatever, call funnels? Or you think that it's just some tool which will attach to them as a bonus, as a feature? How do you see that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if you look at the trend of AI and the trajectory of where it's going, there's not going to be anything it can't do. And when you look at the traditional marketing environment, AI is going to come in, and unless every company stop developing right now, right? The trend and trajectory of AI is going to come in and it's going to make radical shifts and changes in our space. I mean, in theory, one day you'll be able to put in a couple pieces of information, click a button, and have literally the perfect funnel, the perfect copy, the best images, the offers, you name it. Right now, it's still in that experimentation phase, right? Where everything's kind of so-so. Copy's like, images are like, it can make somewhat of a website. It's like, but we're just scratching. We're not, I wouldn't even, I think scratching the surface is an understatement or overstatement. Like we're barely touching what AI can do yet. So yeah, I think if I had a crystal ball and I try to predict the future, which by the way, humans are terrible at predicting the future. We're wrong about virtually everything. But if I want to give my wrong answer that I think could happen, yeah, you're going to see a big shift in how people are marketing because the barriers of entry are becoming non-existent, right? With funnels and marketing, it was a skill set of know-how at a point where you had to acquire these skills by learning and experience and trial and error. AI is eliminating that. Anyone, you can literally wake up, never heard of the internet, eventually go to AI and tell it some idea you have, and it's going to build the exact thing you want to have happen. So the barriers of entry are completely being eliminated, which means you're going to saturate the market. And once you saturate the market, right, you're going to have a period of time where it washes and you people are going to be gone and 10% are going to come together and it's going to be an oligopoly type field. You see this from industry to industry across the board. You see it with crypto that happened, right? You're still in this weird phase. Coins are coming and washing out all the time. But yeah, I think you're going to see a radical shift in what it can do. I don't know the nuances of it, but I'll just tell you, everything you're seeing is just going to become easier and easier and easier. That's why I'm never like panicking. Like a lot of like entrepreneurs will like instill panic into people. Like you need to get on AI right now. It's like, no, you don't. You don't need a knee-jerk reaction on that, in my opinion. Like these companies are going to figure it out for us. Like you're going to spend all this time working on shit and it's literally going to become obsolete in like every 3 months. So AI is important, something you have to have, something that's going to make changes to things, but it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. If you wanted to take where it's at, it's seeing where it's at right now and seeing what it's going to become. It would be insane to think that things aren't going to change big time. I guess that's my prediction on it.
And I'm pretty sure that however you said, and I agree with you that humans are better at prediction, this prediction is the correct one, because I think that all these prompts and stuffs will be shrinked into one button pretty much over the time. And we're speaking about a couple of months. We are not speaking about very big and very long time distances.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I want to ask you, from the perspective of funnels, which basically helped you tremendously making the money, make customer journey easy, understanding what they're going to get, what they're going to expect, and click that button and buy. Do you still see them as a trend which can last and slowly become a principle in the online sales, or you see that there will happen something which will eliminate them?
Like when you say it, so do I think that customer journey experience will always be a thing, or
Yes,
is it
exactly?
Yeah, I mean, humans are humans. We're social creatures. We are built on relationships. I think maybe that journey can become more optimized and simpler. I haven't wrapped my brain around anything geared towards it. I think again, it'd be crazy to think that it's not going to happen, right? Because everything evolves. Everything is we innovate, we evolve, we change, we adapt, we do all those things. But I think that customer journey of some extent is just building a relationship. It's providing value to people at different steps, ultimately building a relationship between the customer and the company. Also, at the end of the day, if you have a really good product and it works well, you can go straight to the product. Like Apple did a great job doing this. Like they constantly build great products. Like I just buy their products, right? But from a marketing, a direct response perspective, I see it staying like that for a while. Again, customer journey is important. You have to provide different levels of value based on where at business and in that relationship. That customer journey is what helps build that relationship, especially online, because it's the internet and the entire world online is skeptical of virtually everyone, rightfully so, because a lot of great things happen online, a lot of bad things happen online. So everyone just kind of has their guard up. And what that journey does is it helps if you structure it correctly, it helps nurture and build that relationship with the owner of whatever the offer is. I see it staying the same for a long time, but again, all it takes is one person in their basement to create some crazy technology to disrupt everything, and then we can no longer be romantic with how we made our money. We have to make changes to it.
Yeah, we're witnessing of this man from garages more and more. Uh, Blake, you have seen so many funnels. You have seen so many offers people create. What in your mind today distinguish a good evergreen funnel from the funnel which eventually struggle to sell?
I think it's always gonna come down to your offer. The funnel is just the container you put it in. So the reason a funnel, you compare one funnel to another and one fails and one doesn't, it's typically not from anything related around the funnel. It's related around the offer and the marketing. Are you continuing to market this idea? Are you finding new creative ways to tell people about it? Are you profitable enough? Are you profitable enough to continue to spend on it to acquire customers? And the way that you'll be profitable enough is if your average order value or people are buying. People are spending more with you. They're spending a lot, or they're spending a lot and more frequently, whatever it is. So it's going to come down to the offer. And you could have, if you have a really, you could have a really good offer and a shitty looking funnel, and that funnel will last a lifetime, essentially, quote unquote. You could have a really bad offer and a really beautiful funnel, and it will bomb. So the difference between a funnel that's evergreen, one that works and one that doesn't, it's just really, what are you selling behind it? Because you can take the same offer and package it up differently in the sales mechanism. You could sell it via VSL. You could sell it via long form sales letter. You could sell it over the phone. You could sell it on a webinar. That's just whatever you think is the right container to package that message in for that specific offer, right? But at the end of the day, do you have something people want? It's that simple. You're hungry. I have the only food that exists. It doesn't matter what funnel it's wrapped in, you're going to want it. So it's not so much about the funnel, what the difference in that, like with very nuanced things like urgency and scarcity, and is the button green or blue, like that, none of that crap matters. It's, do you have something people want? And if you did a great job doing that by providing a solution to a very big problem, then that funnel it will be the test of time. It should go the distance for a long time.
I love it. So we're coming to the core where the offer played the role no matter the way of you're selling it. And can you now tell me, from your perspective, when it comes to creating offers, how much the offer itself it's good if it's based on past experience, and how much the offer itself is good if it's just based on idea, yeah, this might work? To simplify the question, how important validation of the offer is nowadays to people realize the real value and to go for that offer?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go for an offer if it just solves a problem, right? Like, and it really works. People want to see results. Does it work? Does it solve a problem? And then there's other factors too, like how fast does it solve the problem, right? Is there a lot of risk? There's a bunch of different factors that go into what creates a good offer. But what creates a good offer at its core is like, I have a problem, this works and solves it, right? Like, I have a headache, I'm taking Tylenol. It works. That's why Tylenol sells. Okay. Very black and white. Okay. I broke my arm, I go put a cast on it. Okay. It's a solution. And to make really good offers, yeah, you have to have a past foundation of understanding what it takes. You have to really understand the market, which is all the boring shit no one wants to do. I get it. I hate it's like, it gets boring. It's like you really have to go deep and research the market, understand what people want. And the best way to do that is just ask them. Like, literally just ask people what they struggle with about something and then go create a solution for it. It's the fastest way. So if you understand what the market is struggling with, you can then just create a solution for it. And then in that solution, when you're building your offer, when you're building your product, that's when you have to start surgically sciencing you have to surgically dive into it and add things to it that get people to want to buy it even more. Is it going to get you a result fast? Is it low risk for the customer? Are you able to deliver on it? Are you able to fulfill it easily from your side? So there's like external factors that make a good offer and then internal factors that help your business. But all in all, to make a good offer, like whether you're brand new or you've been doing it a long time, it's just it's asking the customer what the issue is and then creating a product for it. That's the reality of it.
Love it. I want to ask you.
It's boring. It's like, I wish I had something to be like, here's the secret hack. And I could say some BS about like a step-by-step process, but the reality is it's like that's entrepreneurship. Most companies that start, they just solve the problem for a customer, and people overthink this shit way too much. They just overthink it. Like they need to do, I got this AI system workflow. It's like, dude, you're not even solving anything. Like God knows we need another payment app to exist on planet Earth. We have like 18 of them now, but just like literally ask people what they're struggling with and just you build a product around it. Like if I knew, I think half the battle in this game is like if you really knew what to build. That's key. Most people build things no one wants. They build things because they like them. But if you find out what your audience wants and you go and build that, you're already way ahead of most people, because now you can just focus on how do you build the thing that they want.
Yeah, and that's exactly where my next question goes. Most of the time we hear you have to be passionate about that. From my perspective, come on, I'm passionate about tennis. Nobody wants to see me how I play tennis with 2 meter being tall and having around 100 kilos on the court, because it's gonna look ridiculous. And by the way, the quality of that game gonna be under the normal. So I don't believe in passion myself, but I do believe in spotting the problem and solving that problem for the marketplace. Give me your
Well,
experience.
and what you're saying too, Nick, it's exactly what you're saying is this. I agree. You can't be passionate. Passion will only take you so far. You be passionate about underwater basket weaving, you're not going to make any money, right? You're not going to have a
Yeah,
business. You have to be passionate about solving a big problem. That's where your passion has to aid to. It's not on the thing itself. It's you got to be passionate with the problem itself. You have to be obsessed with solving a big problem. That is the key. That is what you need to focus all effort on.
exactly. Give me a little bit of context. How do you personally spot those problems? Is this looking what's happening with the social media? Is this talking to people? Is this talking to your current clients and see what actually bothers them? How do you personally find those problems in the marketplace?
So we do twofold, right? We first, it's a problem we deal with, because a lot of the times, you'll see people say like, you are not your audience, which is true to an extent, but some products created, it's because you were the audience. Some of the most successful businesses that exist is because the founders created a solution for their problem and realized there's millions of other people that experience the same thing. So we first start thinking of ideas based on, man, like this is such a pain in the ass. It's really easy. Go through your day to day and just think of things that like frustrate you. That like there's like we've all had that idea, like, man, why did no one think of this? Like, or we're sitting at our desk working, like, I wish there was a solution for this, right? That's how we first start. And we're like, okay, is it just us dealing with this issue, or are there other people dealing with it? So then we ask people, like I was mentioning before, ask people if they're dealing with it. And then when you get the overwhelming yes or no, you can now use the data to guide your decision-making process and decide if it's something you want to pursue or something you want to just kind of throw in the trash or go wayside. But that's how we do it. It's always problems we first experience. Every product we've created is because that we've had success with is because we first had that issue being an actual consumer of our own product in the market space. In the marketplace, we are the customer. And then we had to go find out if we were the only customer or if there were a lot of people like us. And if the answer came back yes, we would take it seriously and consider building it and then launching it to the marketplace. It's really that simple.
It's that simple, but still so many people don't do it because so many people
Yeah,
are going with their heart.
you believe in it or you don't. I can't teach you about ambition, right? That's just something that lives in you, or you feel it for a little bit, right? But the actual brass tacks of all this and the meat and potatoes, it's not this overcomplicated process. What's complicated or feels tough is the lack of ambition or having to actually go and execute and do this stuff. That's something I can't teach. That's either in you or it's not, or you find ways to put it in you or not. But the actual process of ideation, it's not extremely difficult. Think of things that annoy you throughout the day that you wish there were solutions for. Ask other people if they deal with the same things. Maybe do a little more research if there's actually a market for it, and go build it. And that's it. But yeah, the execution, that requires a lot of ambition, and it requires a lot of mental strength and a lot of the stuff that is tough and it's easy to give up on. And that is the difference maker right there, is if you can get through that gauntlet, you're good to go.
Love it. You mentioned, you believe or not, what was the belief you had to unlearn to create success?
Yeah, I basically had to unlearn everything I was taught in school, which was
Wow,
kind of unfortunate. So unfortunate.
kind of a
School,
lot.
yeah, school was designed to create capital resources, right? That's what primary to secondary to primary education, all that. It was invented to create human resources. So you go work, high school, college, all that stuff. You go become a human resource for a company. And then that's hard to shift, right? Why do you think the majority of people are employees, not entrepreneurs? Like,
Mm.
because school was designed for year after year after year to instill and bang that into your system. Go get a job, get a good salary, right? Go do all those things. I had to unlearn all that crap, right? And realize that, nah, there's got to be a different way. I'm not going to go, me personally, I'm not going to go and I like my freedom. I want freedom. That's just what I wanted. And everyone has a different definition of what they consider their freedom. But I knew that I wasn't going to get it going and doing the employee route. Now, I did the employee route for a little bit, but that was only to get the resources that I need to go do the next thing I wanted to do. So school is designed to do that, create human resources. And it's just, that's the reality of it. And it was just something I knew I wasn't going to do. And I'm glad I had to unlearn virtually everything that was taught to me in it. And it's hard. And you unlearn it. It's like this weird rocky phase when you're unlearning it because half of you is like, God, was school correct? Because this isn't working. And then once it starts working, you're like, yeah, I knew that. I knew school. I knew it was wrong. Like that
I
wasn't the way to go.
felt
But you're fighting this battle, right? Because it's pulling on each other, and you don't know which direction you're going to go. And when it's not working, you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then when it starts working, you're like, I'm glad I did that. You just have to. It's like the whole Steve Jobs quote, like you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect the dots when you look back. Like in anything in life, if you look back on what you've ever done right now, you can connect those dots on how you got there. But from this moment forward, looking into the future, you can't connect any dots. You don't know how things are going to align. And what he's saying is like you just have to somehow trust that those dots are going to connect in the future, basically the same that they did in the past. And that was the key.
very powerful because this sentence I heard multiple times and I was taking it like, okay, sure, yeah, makes sense. But now I'm speaking to you, I'm picturing it a bit differently, and it's interesting one because you really are based all your entrepreneurship on uncertainty. Every your next step is eventually dot, but you cannot connect them looking forward. You can only turn yourself back. Yeah, and that's actually probably something what keeps people stuck in place because they're not enough brave maybe to make that step and to make that next dot. Uh,
Yeah.
you mentioned that your belief is not everybody can be entrepreneur. I agree with that. But my question is now, do you believe that entrepreneur is born or made through some certain pain or an entire world or environment misaligned with its own idea or how you feel that it should be?
I believe everyone can be an entrepreneur. I don't believe that everyone should be. So
Okay,
I
that's very
think
good.
I think I think that's born in us, right? Like no matter
Mhm.
what, if like whoever when anyone watching this, they're gonna have moments in their life that they realize they were very entrepreneurial. They had some ingenuity, they solved some type of problem. That's entrepreneurship, solving problems,
Dopamine
literally.
grows.
It's
Yeah.
personal growth and solving problems. That's becoming a good entrepreneur. So I think that that's innate in us as humans. Again, that's how we have survived like the coldest winters on earth with like, you know, no clothing, anything. Like it's insane what we've been through. But what gets someone to become an entrepreneur or actually go through with it, yeah, maybe there was some traumatic event that happened, some unsolved childhood trauma. Maybe you were bullied when you were younger and you wanted to prove yourself to other people that you could do it. Maybe you were picked on, or like, maybe, you had some unresolved relationship with family members, something ignited in you to be like, F this, I'm going to do something, right? Or, you're just a normal person and some idea just pulled you in. I don't believe that people have ideas. I believe that ideas have people, because the second an idea latches onto you, it becomes a virus. And if you truly love it and you want to go for it, there's nothing you can do to shake it, right? You'll be thinking about that idea when you're taking a shower, before you go to bed, as you're eating breakfast. That idea owns you. It's not the other way around. And you can be the person that just it latches on to you, you know? Again, I've seen a lot of stories where, something would traumatically happen. Someone was killed in a car crash and someone lived, and they started an entire organization based around drunk driving, for example. So there's specific events that can really occur. And then sometimes it's just you have this really good idea and you become obsessed with it, But yeah, I think everyone's capable, but I don't think everyone should be doing it. There's a lot of things that make entrepreneurship easier, especially in the infancy stages, right? Like, sure, you can have a girlfriend or a wife and kids, but it's going to be a million times harder if you haven't gotten to where you need to be yet. Like, you can do it, but most entrepreneurs that have like struck that success, they usually did it before they got into the family zone, for example. Okay. And it's everyone can do that, but there's just things you have to structure your life to make it easier for your journey. And at the end of the day, yeah, everyone can be one, but I don't think everyone should be one. And what determines if you should or not is if really do you have the mental capacity, the grit, and the ambition to just pursue an idea and go through that until you beat it into submission and have success with it.
How do you personally work on your mindset nowadays after all this success and keeping away your ego from the first place? Because most of the people, when they make success, they can have this ego barrier in themselves saying, hey, I made this, I'm always right. And you seems to be very solid with mindset, speaking to you that you're always aware of data and spotting the problems in the marketplace, analyzing, talking to people and so on. How do you work with that?
So I think by failing a lot in the beginning, it taught me a lot of valuable lessons where this game has no room for ego. When ego's in, you're emotional. When emotion's in, bad decisions are made. I'm also not as motivated by money aspect about like money's great to have because it creates the freedom. I'm really motivated by the freedom aspect and building cool things, building really fun things is epic. So that also removes the ego out of it as well. I don't care to prove anything. In fact, I like to be more of a silent assassin with things. Like people don't know, how much do I have or I'm not flashy with things. It's just not my MO, right? And to each their own. If people like that, feel free. There's nothing against that. But eliminate knowing that it all could be taken from me at any time, whether it's a new technology or a better, more gangster entrepreneur challenging us, knowing that it's like the quote by Mark Cuban, work like someone's working 24 hours a day to take it from you. And that's enough for me to realize that there's no room in this game for any of the BS emotion and status and ego shit. It's realize what you were gift, you'll do like that. And when you have that mentality, you go into everything just as hard as day one as year 15.
What does success means to you today? And how this changed from the moment before you made your first million?
Yeah. So when I first wanted success, I wanted money. And I think that's it's an admirable thing to want at first, right? You can't do shit without money at first, right? So anyone that is like, it's not about money. In the beginning, it kind of is because you need money to do the things you want to do. I think you're motivated by entrepreneurship because maybe you don't know how to communicate it yet, but you're thinking, I want to get a lot of money, right? That's why you become an entrepreneur, okay? Because you want that money and that money is what you're really saying is you want freedom. So success to me is freedom. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Once you reach specific levels of needs, you can start operating on that level and you no longer, I can't think about going on vacation if I can't pay rent. I'm not even going to be thinking about vacation, right? Or I'm not going to be thinking about, going out to eat if I can't pay rent or any of that stuff. If I don't know where I'm going to get food the next day, I'm not thinking about hanging out with my friends at night, right? Same thing with this. you need to reach levels. You need to get income coming in so you can do the cool things you want to do, whether that's give back, that's help other people, whatever it might be, starting charities if that's what you want to do. But you can't do any of that stuff broke and poor. You just can't. So that was level one for me. Like, let's get some money so we can do some cool stuff, right? And then once you get a little bit of coin in your pocket, it shifts radically from that to like just freedom. And freedom to me is just, it's really just being able to do what I want when I want with whoever I want and being happy doing it, right? Because at the end of the day, whoever's like happy is really winning, whether you have a lot of money or not. I think happiness is kind of the key. So success to me is a mix of freedom and happiness kind of combined together in this little contraption and creating that world for me. And that's what it is. It's not me specifically. It's not the flashy cars or flying private and shit and, stunting on people at a conference of here's what I do. It's like, I just like to live happy and free and be able to do the things I want with the people I want. And to me, that's the ultimate form of success.
Was this from the very beginning, or somewhere along the journey you realized that this is not what makes you fulfilled?
It's along on the journey. I never, me again, I'm speaking in terms of me. I never cared about the flashy stuff like the cars, the houses. I never cared about that stuff. That was me, I would say, from day one. Now, it doesn't mean I wouldn't buy those things in the future. That's
Sure.
not what I'm saying. It's just not a motivating factor for me to do what I do, right? I'm not here to prove anyone wrong. I don't have that like chip on my shoulder. I don't care about that stuff. My business partner and I, we want to make dope products. We want to make badass products that solve awesome, big problems for the marketplace. That's what's exciting to us. That's the fire for us, to seeing how people's lives are changing from that. And as a result, you make money for doing it. That's the trade. But in the beginning, yeah, like I said, like I wanted money. I wanted to make money. And then now it's like, okay, we have money. Like nothing, my life didn't change because I live as lean as I did when I was in college. I live the exact same way I did when I was broke in college as I do now. So I'm like, well, that didn't change anything. So it's more about the freedom. It's like, I know I can hop off this podcast, hop on a flight to the Bahamas and go enjoy a weekend there. And that's exciting to me to be able to do stuff like that and do it with people that I enjoy and be happy doing it, and that's I think where it changed for me. It's first you have to do this and then you can focus on other things.
Interesting. I would like to hear then what for you is legacy. Is it something what is a story people saying behind you, after you, when you exit the room? Or you don't care about that and you care about setting some different legacy results?
I'm the worst. I don't give a shit about legacy.
Wow.
I'm the worst with it. Now, I don't want to confuse legacy with how people talk about my brand. Like if I leave the room,
Absolutely,
I would hope that it would talk good about what we do. And I think that we're doing a pretty good job with that. But when I die and leave Earth, I think too many entrepreneurs get wrapped up in this legacy crap. It's like, even Steve Jobs said it. He's like, the only way you're going to hear about me in thousands of years or whatever is archaeologists are going to have to dig up my bones. Because he's correct. Like, I think legacy personally, I think it's like a really selfish motive. It's like, who gives it? You're dead. You don't know if people are talking about you. You don't know anything going on. You are dead. You're off the earth. You have no idea what's happening. So if you want to view legacy from a selfish standpoint, I don't get that. But if you want to view it where it's like the work that you did impacted humans, I think that's cool. So I don't view it as like a legacy. I view it as like, while you're on earth, do as much good as you can so that when you are gone, who gives a shit if they talk about you, right? Like who cares about your legacy? Again, I think it's such a selfish, it's strictly about you only. I think the legacy is really, did your work and everything you created, does it continue to benefit people again and again and again? And if you view it from that standpoint, that's great. Whether they ever speak your name again when you're dead and gone, honestly, it doesn't matter, again, because you're dead. You have no idea they're even talking about you. But if you view it from a selfish standpoint, like when I go, I hope that people talk about me and what I did. It's like I don't get on board with that. It's the other part of it that that you grinded your face off while you were here and you helped a lot of people and they can continue benefit from you. And whether they speak your name or not when you're gone, who cares? Because again, you're dead. You won't even know what's happening.
Thank you for sharing this. That's very interesting view on the things. And you're one of the rare people whom I've seen that is doing things in the present moment right now because this makes me happy. This gives me the freedom. This is going to create me some future certain future, which I want. And I really don't look at 300 years from now when I'm even not here. And this mindset is something what most people probably cannot even imagine now listening and watching to us here. So I would like to use the chance and to you give me a couple of things you believe that people need to master with themselves, with their mindset, with their own thoughts and ideas in order to execute and to create some certain impact and change their life, change their business, rise it to the level where they want to be.
So I think you need a strong foundation. I believe in God, right? So I think, I mean, that's just me. Again, I believe in God. I think, he's a guiding light for many things. I think having a strong foundation really helps when times get tough. Again, knowing stuff's not going to pan out. Most likely, the majority of the times, it's like a slot machine. Like you're going to lose more than you're going to win. And then when you start winning, you can find a way to replicate that success. So I think understanding, go into it on a strong foundation, whatever it is that you believe, that your guiding light, whatever, define that in you, whatever that is, and realize that that is going to help you through thick and thin. Never forget why you started, because that will also help you push forward in times of uncertainty. Like always remember why you started. You had a game plan. Don't deter from the game plan, even when things get rocky. One of our former business partners, he was sitting down and it was Colin Powell, I believe. He was in the Army Rangers, and Colin Powell, he was like working on like a plan, I don't know exactly what it was. And I think Colin Powell hit him on the shoulders, like, "What's going on, Ranger?" And he's like, "I'm just working on this plan or whatever, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Never deter from the plan." Again, that stuck with him and that stuck with me, right? Because when you go through chaotic times, the easiest thing to do is scrap the plan that you made when you were the most level-headed. And you have to remember your plan to all this, how you're going about it, was created when you were the most logical, reasonable, and level-headed. And never deter from that just because things get chaotic. And knowing that will also help you through as well. And then just also understanding the big thing I preach is delay gratification. You just have to, that has to be inside of you. You have to go into this knowing you're not going to get results in the manner that you should. The same way that people work out. Man, how good it would be if I went to the gym and worked out and went home and saw results the next morning. That would be absolutely amazing. But it's not the reality of it, right? The reality is it takes weeks, if not months, and even up to years to be impressed with what you've created. So if you can delay the gratification on things and you go into it knowing you're not going to see results for a long time or even at all, is the number one way to get through hard times, is just knowing that. Because the second you see results, you can put gasoline on the fire, put your pedal to the metal, and really go for it. So having that, just knowing it's going to get tough, knowing it's not going to work out exactly as you thought, but sticking to the plan, sticking to your gut, remembering why you're doing it in the first place, and just pushing through, delaying that gratification. You will have success. It's not if, or like, eventually you will have success. Things will work out in your favor. Okay. It's just what's going to happen. I've never met an entrepreneur that worked their face off and learned from each failure and did not have success. The reason they had success is because they just didn't give up and they eventually found a way to make it work. And that's the trick here. It's no secret hack or formula or any of that shit. It's legit. Just keep pushing forward on something until you beat into submission and it works out for you.
Powerful. I have a couple of questions more. And one of them is that you're even now having a t-shirt of Rocketeer. I would like to tell me what is Rocketeer today and what is the concept of what is doing, so that everybody who is watching this on the video platforms, they might be already curious why this t-shirt and what does it mean. I know a little bit about that, but I would like to hear it from you.
Yeah, so we create ideas, we create solutions to problems that we faced. My business partner and I, we realized we could make all the offers in the world. We could build the landing page, we could write the copy, create the emails. We built the offer, the product or service. And then one thing we struggled with was traffic. How do we get people to look at our stuff? And then we asked ourselves, are we the only ones that deal with traffic problem? And then we asked a lot of other people, hey, is getting traffic hard? Is running Facebook ads specifically hard? And it was a resounding yes across the board. And we realized it too. Like running ads is extremely difficult. The tools you're given are so messy, so convoluted, so complicated that you have no idea what you're doing. Okay. Even if you get to the end of setting up a Facebook ad campaign, every step of the way inside of the Meta Ads Manager, you're just losing confidence with each click and each press of a button. By the time you're at the end of it, you're like, I don't even know if this is going to work. And then the other alternative solution was you hire people, but they're going to charge you more money than you even have to have a fighting chance at success. And we started looking at this issue. We're like, well, the things we have suck because they're so confusing. And the experts we can get on it are so expensive that we don't have a solution. So we were looking at this thing like, what is any entrepreneur supposed to do to run successful Facebook ads or ads in general and get traffic to their page, which again is the hardest thing with entrepreneurs, is getting people to look at their stuff. So we started to do a little research and we started to dive in and we went down this journey and we wanted to find a solution to make ads easier. So we started looking at TurboTax and how TurboTax, like taxes used to be extremely complicated, like insane data that no one even knows. Like go try and do your own taxes. Good luck. But then TurboTax comes around and makes it really simple. And we started looking at investing and people were investing and we see investing is this really complicated thing. Like no one knows what half the terms mean or how to invest properly. And then Robinhood comes in and lets anyone invest easily. And we're looking at paid media and we're like, no one's done this with ads. It's this complicated, expensive process that no one knows how to do. So why is no one ever found a solution? So the same way that TurboTax made taxes easier and Robinhood made investing easier, Rocketeer makes Facebook ads easier by creating a really simple solution where anyone, no matter where you're at, no matter your skill level of experience, I'm terrible with ads. I was horrible at them. You can go into our software, you can grab your perfect campaign, grab your perfect ad, which we already have them already teed up, and you can literally launch a really good, compelling ad in minutes compared to not knowing what you're doing. And then our software tells you exactly how your ad's performing and what to do. So we found a way to create like TurboTax Facebook, no longer have to guess how they're going to get traffic. We created the easy button to getting traffic to your products and services online and off.
Love it. Sounds that job of starting ads, it's way more simplified than ever before because all of us who are doing
Exactly.
I'm personally doing it for my clients. I know how complicated and messy can be. Blake, I have one more question for you. But before I ask you that question,
Sure.
I would like to ask you, is there anything what I haven't asked you today, but you would like personally to share and to use your time?
I think you've done an incredible job. So no, I think
Oh,
you
thank you.
nailed it and really good questions.
Okay, for every from the last episode, I'm doing here some small game, and this is that every previous guest leave a question for new guest, not knowing each other. They don't know who will be the new guest.
Okay.
So the question left here to you is, what is the biggest mindset shift belief when it comes to money you had?
Money is not evil. I used to talk about money, or I used to not talk about money. And most people I feel like still don't. And it feels icky and uncomfortable to talk about money. And my biggest shift is that you don't have to be afraid to talk about money, because when you talk about money, you find ways to brainstorm ideas to get more of it. And money is just a tool at the end of the day. I know it's cliche, everyone says the same shit, but it's really what it is. It's a tool at the end of the day, and it helps you get more money, and in result, be able to do more things. So my biggest shift with money is no longer view it as like it's icky to talk about, and view it as like a thing that should be a topic of conversation to learn how to get more of it.
Very powerful. Thank you so much for being today's guest. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate your time and your wisdom, and for me, it was a great episode. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Nick. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Cool.